I just want to thank them for seeing just how important it is for us to spread this word on Careology.
Oh
It
yeah.
is important. So many people are being helped. So many people are finding out about us. And on that topic, Carebag will be not Careology. Carebag will be at the Port St. Lucie Community Center from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. tomorrow. It is the services of our community. And if you are out there listening and you're in on the Treasure Coast and you're sitting here, oh my goodness, I need this for my mom, I need this for my daughter. If this happened or this has happened, what do I do? Where do I go? That's the place for you. It's put on by COSA. Carebag is we are members of COSA. We will not have a table there, but we will be there supporting our other nonprofits and other services in the community. So come on out on Ariosa, right off Ariosa and Port St. Lucie Boulevard, the Port St. Lucie Community Center. Google it, look it up. It's easy to find. Like I said, we'll be there from 10 to 12. And just come out and see the so many services that are in our community.
I've
It's
never
very
seen
important.
anything like Carebag that goes out and actually supports other nonprofits.
Well, you have to. I know
Yeah.
it's funny when I came
You all work
into
together.
it. When I came into here, it's a business. A nonprofit is a business, except that we are allowed certain conditions by our federal government. But at the end of it's still a business. We still have to file taxes. We still have to be transparent. There's a lot we have to do. But just like a business being a cut and throat, nonprofits are the same way. Everyone is trying to get the same funds in the same little area, but there is a way that we can work together. We can share resources. We can come as partners and be collaborative. So we're very, very happy about that. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, Carebag is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every Thursday. If you would like to go ahead and find out more about us, take out your phones and type in the word Carebag, one word, Carebag, one word, no space, and text that to 77222. When you do that, you will get monthly updates on what time our office is open, any giveaways we may have, any extras. Because sometimes people come with pallets of bleach, pallets of toilet paper, pallets of paper towels, and we have to get rid of it because we don't have the space. So we will go ahead and we'll just give them out to everyone that comes.
Have you heard that guy on Swap Shop with a 55-gallon drum full of hand sanitizer?
What that's you know what that's something we can't use because you
Well,
first
way too
when
big. Yeah.
it's way too big. You have to have little jars to put it in, and then you have to make sure you're doing it right.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, somebody got to do it. And if we don't find the somebody, then it's gonna be me. For those that can't
Oh.
see me, I'm raising my hand.
My mother
So-
once told us all, you know why I never learned how to fix the car? Because everything I've ever learned has become my job.
Your job. So I just want to let anyone know because I see a couple people calling me. I cannot answer the phone if you're calling. If you want to go ahead and call into the show,
Yeah.
what you need to do is call on 340-772
Yeah,
340-1590.
That gets
Or
right through to the studio here.
if you know me and you have my personal number, which I'm not going to give out, you can call on there and I can listen to your call. But I cannot take any calls on our live stream because we're live. That's what live stream is. So I just want to let everyone know. So as I decline the call, you can hear me and you can understand. So I can go ahead and take any calls if you have my personal number. I can do that. But I just want to say thank you, Jet, everyone listening on our Instagram and everyone listening on our Facebook platform. Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate that. So we want to go ahead and touch a few things. So a lot of you know that I have spent many, many, many years in England. And somebody just texted me, Roxy, is the little princess in the studio with me? Yes, she is. She's sitting here and she's listening to her music.
She's so quiet, you never know.
It's a 3-year-old. This is a special child. She's in tune with what she's doing with her music. And the way her hands are going, I'm going to say she's listening to the wheels on the bus. So that's good for her. But what I want to let everyone know is everyone knows I spent a lot of years in England. So I watched the Queen's funeral on Monday. For those that don't like the monarch, you don't have to listen to what I'm saying. But I enjoyed it. That's what you talk about. For those that watched it, that's about putting your business in order. And that is a show that we are actually going to have next month. We are going to be talking to my friend Deborah from Dignity Memorial, and it's about planning that last planning you have to do. We all know a lot of people don't like to talk about it, a lot of people don't want to do anything about it, but you have to remember we all have to plan. I have seen on the last at funerals, at the last time when somebody has passes, there's so much confusion within the family, so much bickering, so much fighting because you did not get yourself in order. So we're going to be talking to you, and it's going to be a two-part series. So I want you to keep tuning in. I'll talk more about it because I think it's important for us to go ahead and have your things in order. There might be somebody you want to get something. There might be a way you want things done, and it's a smart move, and it's the best way to get it done. So we're going to have Dignity Memorial here in the next couple of weeks so we can go ahead and we can get that done. So I'm also, anyone could also text me, and I'm going to say it again, by going ahead and doing the word Carebag to 772-222. One word, text the word Carebag to 772-222, and you can actually get on with our information so we can go ahead and help. I have someone that is talking to me, so I'm sorry, y'all. So we're going to be just talking about a lot of topics. We're going to continue with our topic about what we talked about. It is Suicide Prevention Month, and we really want to talk on that because it has, unfortunately, it has hit home for me within the last month, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to deal with it, and it's good when you have someone to talk to. It's good when you know what you should do, and we want to go ahead and let people know, you are worthy. You are what's going on, and you are important. And we're going to keep saying it. You are important. And I think it's heartbreaking. I don't think individuals understand what happens, what they leave behind when this act occurs. You leave a question to so many people why. I've been asking myself that over, weeks and weeks, and, just why. Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you talk to me? And it's important for us to go ahead and help. We're going to have a good friend of mine, Sue. We're going to get, unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it into the studio. So we're going to be talking to her online. We're going to be talking to her on the phone. Now, the only problem with that is my guests are not going to be able to hear on our platform, on our Instagram and on our Facebook platform as we go ahead and we stream in. But I will go ahead for the radio audiences. You will hear me repeat it twice because I think it's important for people to go ahead. And Sue just wanted me to let her know that her son's birthday is this Saturday. And I think her story is just incredible, and it's nice to know that she's going to share our story. So we're going to be talking with her in a little bit. But she sent me some things that I would like to talk about. There is a link between mass violence and mental illness is misleading and grossly distorted. So that is one of the myths that we want to debunk, because we're debunking the myths of violence and mental illness. And I agree with that 100%. There is a big difference between violence and mental illness. There's a big difference between hate and mental illness. And I think every time something happens, everyone wants to clump everything in mental illness. Sometimes it's not clumped in mental illness. Sometimes it is just plain hate. And we need to differentiate that. We need to know the difference with that. So, and a lot of it comes from, I think, and I'm gonna ask Sue that when we get her on the phone. I think it has to do also with a lot of medications. We talked about it last week, and I said if anyone paid attention, when these new medications come out, a lot of the side effects that are supposed to help you get over whatever you're going through kicks up as suicidal thoughts. First of all, why would any drug company, why would anyone in their right God-given mind think that it was okay to make a medication that it's supposed to help you, but still has a side effect of causing that. So a lot of this goes back now to our pharmaceutical companies, because I think they need to also take responsibility. And when somebody starts suing their behind, then they're going to start really paying attention, because sometimes they make so much money off of us. They make money off of our pain, they make money off of our illness, and they're making money off of our death. And I think it takes it it conjures up and it brings up so many feelings when you decide to make a decision. And maybe that's why some people don't go through it. It's just too much. But I think we need to stop the buck where the buck stops. And let's look over one of the other links that we have. Is people with mental illness are much more likely to be victims of violence than to be perpetrators of violence. So that's one of the debunking myths we have of violence and mental illness. I'm going to repeat that again. People with mental illness are much more likely to be victims of violence than to be perpetrators of violence. So that's one of the myths that we are debunking. Violent acts are much more strongly characterized by factors other than mental illness. More potent risk factors are violence includes a history of aggression, impulse control problems, rage, vindictiveness, narcissism, psychopath, and and psychopath. So we're trying to debunk, and every time something happens in our society, I don't know if you noticed that, Cliff, the first thing they want to do is talk about this person had mental illness, put it to mental illness. What about if this person was just a raving lunatic of just violence? Have you
It
seen
might be
some
connected.
have you ever seen some of these games that some of these kids play?
Oh, the games, the violent games, the virtual reality
The
games
virtual
and
reality
stuff.
games.
Yeah, the shoot 'em and
Yes.
bloody,
Yes.
real bloody
And the
battle.
more you kill, the more points you get.
Yeah,
And I heard an article about it a couple years ago where parents were really trying to do something about it. But then I said, you are in charge of your household. You got to know what's coming in your household. Let's be true. You have to know what's coming in your household. Yes, kids are going to go over a friend's house, they're going to go over, but you really need to be aware of what your kids are doing, what they're watching. You go to their computer and all of a sudden you see something. You got to know how to go to that screen and flick that screen and go over somewhere else. You have to know about that. So I think violence, I know it's Suicide Prevention Month, but we really need to tackle the violence in our community. The violence, the racism that we have, it has reached an all-time high and has reached an all-time peak. And it's just very, very sad with everything that's going on. So, we want to talk about that. It's just so much. It's just so much. You can talk about firearms. You can talk about prescription drugs. You can talk about in bullying. There's so many factors that lead to so many things. But how are we going to handle them all? So I'm going to be doing a little bit of repeating and a lot of things. Thank you, Kenya. Kenya for Kids is doing some EPIC training, and we're going to be having that for anyone that is always listening to me and has a pencil ready. It is www.forkids.us/EPIC/training. And I will say that again, www.forkids.us/EPIC/training. So if you have any parents, caregivers, teachers, etc., who need any support to help with trauma-informed care, please let them know. 4Kids offers free training. Our training is not just for foster families. Kenya has been on here before for 4Kids. Thank you, Kenya. Love you lots. And we just want to say there's so many. We love that. There's so many. You just said it, Cliff. There's so many organizations that we come together. We work together. This is one of them. And we want to say thank you. So I have Sue on the line. You guys bear with me because I need to repeat it so that my social media platform could also hear, because they cannot hear when we have her on the phone. Hi, Sue. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Roxy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And it's a shame because I so much wanted our social media platform to go ahead and to hear your story. What are some of the things you want to debunk about the myth of violence and mental? Well, first of all, let's start by saying your story. And when you say it, I'm going to repeat it so my guys on our social media platform can hear.
Okay, great. So my 16-year-old son, Evan, took his life in May of 2013.
Okay. So
And
Sue's son was
mhm,
16 years old and he took his life at 16. And well, I'm sure, I remember you telling me the story. Would you mind sharing with that again at your own pace, please?
sure, uh, he was a basketball athlete, star in his high school as well as in our county and the area that we lived in, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Uh huh.
He had a back injury,
Hmm.
which caused him to have surgery, and he felt like he was never going to be able to play basketball again just because the coach said you don't have to come back this season.
Okay. So one second, her Sue's son got a back injury playing sports, and he was on medication for pain. Am I saying that correctly?
No.
Okay. Repeat that again.
Okay. He felt hopeless when he thought he could play basketball after surgery.
Oh, that he couldn't play basketball after surgery.
Right.
Okay.
So he told us that he didn't feel right and he wanted to go talk to somebody.
Okay. And he told you he didn't feel
We,
right and he didn't want to talk to anybody. And when was that?
though he did want to talk to
He did want to
somebody.
talk to
Uh,
somebody. And when was that?
that was about 3 months after surgery.
3 months after surgery. Hmm.
And uh, he went to a psychiatrist and she put him on a medication that should not be given to children under 21.
So she put him on medication that was not supposed to be given to children that were under 21 years of age.
And after increasing the dose um, 3 times, he really fell into being a despondent person.
Hmm.
And we told the psychiatrist on Thursday afternoon that there was something really wrong. And unfortunately, she didn't hospitalize him because Monday morning he ended his life.
Oh, again, I am so sorry. So sorry of that. And you are now champion. You are now a champion for your son.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us what you do to champion for his memory.
Sure. His friends started an organization called You Matter,
You matter.
and that has grown into a nationwide initiative on college campuses as well as businesses and different peer level groups to be able to discuss mental health, potentially signs of emotional suffering, and recognizing them in yourself or someone else.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, you know what? My heart goes out to you, but I love that you have taken your pain, your anger, whatever you took together, and put this together because we talked about it last week. You're having a walk that's coming up, correct?
Correct. I'm on the board of directors for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in Southeast Florida, and I am chairing the Treasure Coast Walk, which will be on October 29th in Tradition.
October 29th in tradition, Sue is having a walk, and it's a suicide prevention walk. And this is this in you for your in your son's name?
Our team is, but the entire walk is to benefit the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Okay, but we're having one right here locally in our tradition. And if anyone is interested and they'd like to find out how they can take part on this, how do they go ahead and find your information? Could you tell us?
They can go to AFSP, that's
Mm-hmm.
American Foundation for Suicide Protection, AFSP
Mm-hmm.
.org/Treasure Coast.
So that's afsp.org/Treasure Coast. If you want to go out there and you want to show your support to those to everyone. You know what? It's not just doing it for in the memory. Right now, people are suffering. Right now, as we speak, someone is thinking of that. Sue, I just want to thank you so much for just sharing your story and coming out, because I know someone is listening that is hurting, and someone is listening that doesn't know what to do, and you've given them a way. You've given them some hope that they can go ahead. And we know that our suicide prevention number has changed, and it is now, I'll let you do it,
988.
988. I said that enough last week that everybody should remember that. 988 is our new suicide prevention number. And if anyone is interested in that, just go ahead and, just put the number down. Share it with a friend. Write it on the wall in your cubby hole or in your office, or keep it for yourself. You just don't know. We don't know when these things creep upon us. And
it's nationwide.
It's a nationwide number. And Sue, that is something I always talked about. I was just talking about it earlier. I think pharmaceuticals should really, really be accountable for the medication that they put out, because they know that it has these side effects, and not everyone deals with everything like everyone else. And every time I see these commercials and I listen to what the side effects are, because even though they run it fast, my ears, I have bionic ears, I hear it all. And when I hear these side effects, I'm like, oh my goodness, who would take these things? That's the first thing I said, who would take them? And I think it is I think doctors, I think the pharmaceutical company, they really need to be held accountable, because, and gun own, and just like you said, you sent me some information and, what to do to promote firearm safety. And that is a big thing, And our older, I had a friend of mine, Allison, just sent me some information. We also have to think of our elderly. A lot of our elderly that are now living alone, that are widows or widowers, the first thing they want to do is be with their spouse. That's their thinking. And we have a high suicide rate, over 85 amongst our elderly, and we talked about that last week. And we want to let people know it's not a young thing. We have them from, I think 10 or 11 years old was the youngest that I read. You can correct me if I'm wrong, please. And our young people, everyone, we can't grab a group together. Everyone is struggling. And this is something that, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But Sue, I want to thank you so much for calling in and sharing your story. And we're going to be promoting your event again is October
29th.
October 29th, and we are at Tradition.
Right, and Tradition, and we are encouraging people and pets to dress up as your favorite superheroes so that we can fight against suicide.
Dress up is Halloween weekend. Those that celebrate Halloween, you can come and dress up in your favorite, whatever you want to wear, within decency, with your pet, and come on out and support the afsp.org/Treasure Coast. And let's help be a cause. Let's help be that rippling effect that helps to go ahead and eradicate, this terrible, terrible plague that's covering our country, nationwide, worldwide. It's worldwide. But if you want to do anything, you got to start at home. I'm a firm believer in that. You guys hear me say that all the time. Starting at home is the best way to do something. You can't do something abroad. You can't do something anywhere else when so many of us are struggling at home. So I hope that you have the best event ever for October the 29th, that it is a phenomenal success, Sue. And again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for being part of this. We love that. And we are definitely going to talk again. So you have a wonderful evening, and we just want to thank everybody. Just a round of applause for Sue for coming on and just helping us, and we just say thank you. So Sue, you have a wonderful evening, and we will talk again.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And we are going to be right back after these wonderful messages from our amazing sponsors that just make me look good all the time.
The archive on YouTube for this show will, on the screen, it will say www.afsp.org/Treasure Coast. And remember, the new suicide prevention hotline, the 911 for suicide prevention is actually 988.
988. We'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned for the rest of Careology. Don't go anywhere. Careology was created to talk about the issues that face you in your community. You're invited with me, Roxy, every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m. right here on WPSL 1590. Careology, the science of caring, is about you, family, and the community moving forward. Please do join us. Remember, Tuesday at 6:05 p.m. Create custom business signage that customers can't miss or resist. Let Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie help you get the job done right. Over 80 years combined experience. Get it right the first time. Call 772-337-4027 and tell them Roxy said to call. Remember, call 772-337-4020. Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie. Thinking of building your next home or renovating? Come see us at Grozer Builders. We will create a home suited for your lifestyle. With years of experience means we give you a complete professional service from a dream to a concept. You will get the best results, best value, best quality is what you get from Grozer Builders. Visit us at grozerbuilders.com. You deserve better. You deserve Grozer.
We welcome you back to Careology, the science of caring. Once again, your host, Roxy Brown.
Well, we want to go ahead again. Thank you and welcome back to Careology. And thank you to all our sponsors that make us look good all the time. We so much appreciate you. And we just want to say again a special thank you for Sue for coming and sharing that with us. And please remember the AFSP Walk is October 29th. And you can go ahead, go to afsp.org/Treasure Coast. And you can go ahead and you can find out more information. Or you can go ahead to their Facebook as UMTTR. And you can get more information at that link on their Facebook. And we hope that you can go ahead and join them. I, myself, am not a big walker.
I think I can cue the audience to give that round of applause for Sue finally.
Yes, if you can, that would be
audience,
great.
Go right ahead, read the sign. Applause, please. There you go.
It takes courage. It takes courage and it takes guts to come out and share your story with people you don't know. With people you don't know what they're going to say or going to think, which we should not care. So we just want to say thank you again for taking those few minutes with us to go ahead and talk about that because it's important. You know, we have a lot of atrocities happening all over the world right now. We have what's going on in Ukraine. We have the hurricane that just happened in Puerto Rico. Our hearts go out to all these families. But through war, through accidents, you can say this is what happened. But through suicide, you are left with a permanent question mark. And that permanent question mark is never going to be answered. So if we can at any time and point go ahead and prevent that, or prevent one family from having to go through that, that is important. And for those that might need a mobile crisis through their Four Kids Foundation, if you have a pen, it is 772-468-3909. I'll repeat that again. It's a local number, 772-468-3909, and they have a mobile crisis unit. So there are so many avenues. Call 988 or that number. There's so many avenues, and there's so many people. You got New Horizons. Call 211 if you're just stuck and you can't find that paper. Remember 211. Remember 988. There's so many avenues of help, and we just want to go ahead and give an avenue that anyone that is in crisis can go ahead and just find some help, file some relief, or a family member. It doesn't have to be you per se. It could be a family member seeing something they're not 100% comfortable with, or they're not sure with, and they want to get answers. They want to find what to do. You call, because maybe that person is not able to call. And like I said last week, you see someone smiling, you see someone happy, check on everybody. Call someone, check on a friend. Watch what you're taking. Be proactive when you go to your doctor. I think it starts with us. I think it's time for us to be proactive. When we go to our doctor and they're giving us medication, go and Google. Oh my goodness, we don't have the big encyclopedias where you got to flip through the brown and blue with the gold on the side. You don't have to pick out the big books. You don't have to go to the library. You take your phone, you Google, you ask a friend. Google and find out, what are you putting into your body that can affect your mind. That is important. We have to be proactive for ourselves, for our family, for our loved ones. We need to be proactive. And it starts with us. It starts with the companies being responsible. But at the end of the day, it still starts with us for ourselves and for our family. Because that's what I do. If you're going to prescribe me something, I'm going to start looking it up, and I'm going to start asking questions. And a lot of people, when they go to the doctor, they're afraid to ask questions. They think their doctor knows it all. Your doctor doesn't know it all. I'm here to tell you, your doctor don't know it all. So be proactive for yourself. A lot of doctors, not all, a lot of doctors push medication because they get kickbacks from a lot of pharmaceutical companies. We're going to say it because that's what it is. But maybe your doctor does, maybe your doctor doesn't. It's for you to find out. But you yourself need to be proactive on what you're taking. We're going to stop lining the pockets of these big fat cats, and we're going to start looking out for ourselves, and we're going to start making sure we ourselves, we, our families are okay, our children are okay, our loved ones, our elderly are okay. You're going to monitor what you're taking. You're going to read it. You don't understand the word? My favorite thing, Google it. When somebody asks me something and I tell them and I see a little look on their face, the first thing I do is say, you know what, stop asking me questions. I Google it, I share it, I say, here you go. Because I don't talk about nothing I don't know.
There's also a website that you can find out if something is a downright lie or not. It's called Snopes.
Okay.
SNOPES, Snopes.com.
Ooh, I don't know why he told me that. SNOPES.
If you want to verify something that sounds unbelievable, it gives you a little spot where you can type in what you heard, and it'll look it up and it'll tell you whether it's false.
Whether it's false or not. If it's a lie.
It points straight to the lies and say, "There's a lie right there." So it exposes the lie.
Wow. So you know what? We want to put that out there because I think it's important. I think we need to know. But at the end of the day, we need to be responsible. Just because your doctor gives you something, that doesn't mean that you take it. That doesn't mean you say it's okay. Be proactive. Look after yourself. Like Sue said, this doctor went ahead and gave her son medication, 16 years old, that was for someone over 21 years old, and up the dosage. To me, that is unthinkable. So my heart with this family, and his birthday will be Saturday. So, Sue, you celebrate it the best way you know how to celebrate it. And our hearts and our prayers are with you. And we want you to know that. Because no one should have to bury a child. And I tell you that. No one should have to bury a child under these circumstances. So our prayers and our hearts go out with you here. And it's after something like that, what do you say? What do you say, Cliff? What do you say after we hear something like that?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's just it's heart wrenching.
Yes, yes, it
There are
is.
kind of no words. I mean, you find yourself speechless at a time like
Yeah,
that.
but this is a radio show, so we can't be speechless.
Ah,
I think
so we have to
everyone-
reveal inner thoughts and oh
Yes.
my,
But Sue sent me something, and I want to go ahead and just read this. And she sent me about the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, debunking the myth of violence and mental illness. People with mental health conditions are more likely to be marginalized in modern society, which is so true. We look down the minute we hear someone may have a little tweak in them.
I don't think they really have mental institutions that are effective. They just lock people up.
Yeah. The lack of understanding, just
Yeah.
what you said,
Just
the
lock 'em
lack
up
of
is what they do,
access
yeah.
to quality mental health care, and the lack of social support are major challenges we must overcome. So I sit on the board of Southeast Mental Health Behavioral Health Network, and we oversee a lot of mental institutions here in the southeast of Florida, and they are a lot. And what I found out is that many families that are of means, that have children that have gone through this, are taking their money and are opening up centers that they see that they're opening up centers for what they wanted if their child was here. And I think that is the best thing that I've heard in a long time. They've looked, and they couldn't find it. And unfortunately, the worst has happened. And they said, you know what? If I had this building with A, B, C, and D, E, and F, it would have worked. So what do? They put their money where their mouth is. And they open up that building, and they have from A, B, C, D, E, and F.
That ought to help them with closure tremendously.
Oh,
because,
yes.
Because you're in the face of this.
You're seeing
dilemma.
it. You know
Yeah.
it. You've been it.
Yeah,
You've lived it.
It's your turn now, and oh my goodness, what do you do? And you do what you have to do, and if you can create something that you can convince yourself that you're creating something that's going to help others from helping them avoid situations like what you've been through,
Yeah.
and that's a good goal.
And it makes a big difference. So thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to read that again. People with mental health conditions are more likely to be marginalized in modern society. A lack of understanding, lack of access to quality mental health care, and a lack of social support are major challenges that we must overcome. And debunking the myth that links violence to mental illness is a critical way we can make progress towards diminishing stigma, promoting accurate perceptions, and practicing compassionate approaches towards individuals with mental illness. And I think that's true. Some of us are afraid. Some of us don't show the dignity that we need to show them, and people suffering, and because they know how they are perceived, that's where it becomes a problem now. That's where I think the thoughts of suicide come in, because someone's gonna laugh at me, someone's gonna treat me this way, I'm gonna lose my job, I'm not gonna get a mate. There's so many things that go, and they put themselves in seclusion, or they get on these medications. There are just so many different factors. And Sue, thank you for this. The recent mass shooting in Uvalde and Buffalo and Tulsa and other communities across the U.S. are horrific tragedies. And AFSP, the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, joins the country in mourning those who were lost and condemning the senseless violence. So you have to know violence against mental illness. When somebody's sitting there thinking to do harm and planning, you're planning that. You've had it in your mind with hate and intent. That's what it is. It's called intent. You knew this is what you were going to do. Mental illness is you've just been overcome and you just go. There are just so many factors. And we want people to understand this. And above everything else, we want you to remember the number 988. That is so important. So if you have, and we also want you to remember, if you're local here, there is a mobile crisis here on the Treasure Coast, 772-468-3909. And it is, and also there's a church, it's called Abby's House, and they have support and they pray for anyone who wants to talk. And sometimes that's where you may need to go. You might just need a hand, a hug, a hold, a squeeze. Some people don't understand how far that may go. If you're not feeling well, you don't know what can happen. Somebody just lays a hand on your shoulder, that just comforting thought, that just comforting look, and say, you are loved, you are worthy, you are somebody. And saying those words that is so prevalent in our society. There are three little words: God loves you. And that makes such a difference in so many people's lives when they hear that, to know that someone loves them, and that you're worthy and that you are important to being on this earth. And that's what we want to leave with individuals. And I hope that, within the sound of my voice, that if you're going through something, that you would go ahead and you'll reach out to one of these numbers. You'll reach out to someone that you know, someone you trust. I always say, sometimes you can't talk to family. And sometimes you can't talk to friends. So actually, family sometimes is the worst ones to talk to, because they come up with everything under the sun. You're lazy, you need to get a job, you should go to school, and they don't understand you're reaching out for help. They're looking at you on a different perspective of how they know you. Sometimes it's good to talk to someone you don't know, because you're going to open up. You don't know who they are. You'll never see them again. They have no idea who you are, and you can just you can be your true self. You don't have to have that facade out. You can be your true self. So we just want to let someone know you are not alone. You are worthy. And if you are in need of help, do not sit there alone. Pick up your phone, dial 988. Call and talk to someone. Tell someone, you know what? I'm suffering a little bit. There's something going on with me and I need some help. And if one of my friends call me and tell me that, I'm going to sit and listen. And we talked about it last week. Sometimes the best thing for you to do is just shut up. Someone's trying to tell you something, you just shut up and listen. Sometimes they just want to talk. They just want to say, you know what, Cliff, I got this going on with me. I'm feeling really down. I'm overwhelmed. And you listen for those triggers. You listen for those words. And you try and encourage them. And if you think you can't do anything, that's when you say, you know what, let's call this number. Let's see if we can get you somebody that knows about it. Because when you call these lines, you're getting someone that's professional. You're getting someone that can deal you and point you in the right direction. And, I just looked at the clock and I can't believe my time.
Time flies on the radio.
Time flies on the radio. But we just want to leave you with these messages. Just, you are worthy and you are not alone.